Are you struggling to truly understand your partner? And do you find yourself at a constant conflict and disconnection with her and with your partner? Well, you're not alone. And so in this video, we're going to discuss the 6 essential steps that's going to help you understand your partner and deepen your connection with her. Okay, so I'm going to rip through these 6 steps pretty quickly. We don't need to talk about them too much. They're pretty straightforward, so let's get into them. Number 1, active listening. Now, active listening is sitting there and listening and having all your energy and your focus on them. And so you're not actively wanting to respond, you're listening. You're listening with the intent to understand what they're saying and then respond afterwards. You're not listening to just listen and then get your point across afterwards, which so many people do. So some key points to help you with this is maintain eye contact, be fully present in that. Don't listening to your phone or have something going on your phone while you're trying to listen, because we all know that you're not listening to them if you're doing that. So focus on them, nod your head, be in the conversation and focus all your attention on them and not what you're going to say next. And that is the key to help you become a better listener, which then is going to strengthen your relationship and understand her and understand yourself in a relationship too. All right, step number 2, empathy or compassion. Now, this is the thing. Empathy means to take someone else's feelings and energy on board. So we don't necessarily want that. I like to think more of compassion. To give you an example, it's like imagine if someone's in the mud. Someone's down in the shit. If you're expressing empathy, more or less you're jumping down in with them. And so you're both sitting in the shit going, well, this isn't all that fun, is it? So compassion is more from being at the top or being outside of it and saying, hey, I'm listening to you. Let me help you pull you back out of that. So I'm not down in there with you, because then that's just gonna you're gonna be shitting on each other essentially. So it's important to understand that. So you can have that empathy, but really come from a place of compassion, not from a place of wanting to take it on board. And some tips to help you with building that is to imagine flipping the situation around and putting yourself in their shoes. Psychologists say it's one of the hardest things for a human to put themselves in someone else's shoes and see the world from their opinion and from their view. But try your best to do that. Like, put yourself in the situation, be like, how would they be seeing me? How would they be seeing the situation? It'll help you have a better understanding. And the second little tip is really just validate what they're explaining, what they're experiencing, what they're feeling with no judgment. Don't go, oh, what are you feeling that for? What are you thinking that? Or don't whinge about that or whatever. Like, try and keep that judgment away and just validate and go, I get you, I understand. You don't have to go, oh, that must be so bad and play into it, but just say, yeah, I hear you. It must be tough for you. And then that's going to change things, because then you're then offering support and comfort. You're not trying to fix them or tell them what they're doing is wrong or they shouldn't be doing something else. As I've said in a previous video, they don't want answers, they want support. All right, on to step number 3, build your communication skills. Now, communicating effectively is really being able to get your point across and to be able to listen and not cut the other person off and just have a nice free-flowing communication. Being able to say whatever is on your mind or on your heart or whatever you want to say. And the same for that. It's also really, really important. So a few tips onto this is understand that you can say whatever you want and assertively and confidently say that, but don't be demanding and don't be it in a way of like, this is what's happening, blah, 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 like without any thought of them. But more or less saying like, you know what, this is what's going on for me. This is how it's making me feel. That's one thing. The second is use I statements, because there's a difference. Like if you said to someone, or if you were talking and it was like, you take drugs, where I take drugs, it's completely different. But so many people talk about themselves or what's going on in their life, but they say you instead of I, and they're dissociating from it, which you can't own it. You can't heal, you can't work through that stuff if you're saying it's them or you. So say I, try and use I as much as you can in those statements, because then also it's making you communicate of what's going on for you, and you're not pushing the blame, which is the next little tip, is to not push blame, to take responsibility. Don't, in a communication sense, don't go, oh yeah, but you did this, or you did this, or deflect it. So many people do it. It's like someone will have a go at someone and then say, yeah, but you did this, or you did this, or they'll try and deflect it or push blame back onto them, and that never works in a communication sense. So just go, okay, cool, I hear you. That must be tough for you that I'm doing that. I didn't realize I was doing that. How would you like me to fix that? How would you like me to be different? How would you like me to change that? And then they'll go, oh, cool, and they'll explain to it. Whereas a lot of people go, oh, I'm not doing that, or you do this, or whatever. And it's just, ends up being an argument then, So effective communication is really, really key. On to step number 4, prioritize time together as just the two of you. With everything that goes on, families just end up existing, and they just become a family unit, and it's like they become housemates, So it's really, really important to prioritize your time to do things, just the two of you. I get that you could have kids and you need their support around, but it can be as simple as, having a date night. Once the kids gone to bed, you can get a babysitter or a friend or an auntie or grandparent to watch your kids for the night. But organize something, date night. And if you're low on cash and you don't want to go out or anything, you can just, as I said, when the kids go to sleep, you can organize a nice dinner, sit down and chat and watch a movie together or whatever, but just have that time together. You could even try something different, go on an adventure. There's plenty of like art, painting and things that you could go do one of those classes, which are a lot of fun. There's even books. I think one is called the Adventure Book. You get to it's all these date ideas, and you just pull it off and they give you a thing to do, and you've got to do that. And it could be like baking something, or, going on this tour, and you get a little camera with it and all these fun things, So it's really important to prioritize time together, because you're in a relationship. Otherwise you'll just end up becoming housemates. There won't be that spark there anymore, and no one wants to sleep with their housemate essentially, you just end up existing, and the spark goes, and the relationship just becomes more of a friendship rather than a relationship. So it's important to prioritize your time together, connect back to each other, do special things just for the two of you, and then obviously you can do things as a family unit, but it's super, super important to do that as well. Step number 5 is practicing patience and understanding. Now, this is similar to what I touched on before around the communication, but it's just a little bit different. So it's really important to understand what's going on for them and to validate it and not just deflect it or dismiss it. Because a lot of people, they say, oh, you shouldn't be feeling like that, or that's your problem, it's not mine, or whatever it is. I know sometimes for me as well, this is a challenge, is because I know everyone's reflection the world's a reflection of everyone else. So people see me how they want to, and it's not necessarily what I do, it's how they want to see me. And so the thing for me, and this was a big learning phase for me as I was going through this, is my ability to relate with people, is to understand that it's still a relationship, and it still takes a lot from my part, rather than just going, oh, you see me like that, that's your problem. So this is a really good one to understand too, that you've got to practice that understanding. And understanding is just really being able to see it from their perspective, see what's going on, and just understand and accept, and just without judgment, just go, okay, that's where you're at. It is what it is, and understanding, and no judgment from you. And so a few key tips on this is to take a couple of deep breaths before you respond. If the conversation or the little argument maybe, or whatever it is, the conflict that's going on, if you need to remove yourself, just go, hey, look, I am starting to get a bit agitated here. Can you just give me a couple of minutes? I just want to have some breaths. I just want to calm down for a second. Then we can continue. That is showing so much more dominance. That is showing so much more confidence by going, and assertiveness by going, you know what, this situation isn't great for me. Emotional intelligence as well, by going, you know what, I just need to lower my nervous system, calm my emotion for a second so I can have this conversation. It's so much respect to be able to do that. So that's the first one, is to take a couple of deep breaths if you need to, just to bring yourself back if it is starting to to get to you a bit. The next thing is to avoid criticizing, judgment, interrupting. Just let them say whatever they need to say. Just let them get whatever they need to get off their chest. Sometimes people just need to do that, you know. Sometimes they just need to rant, just get everything off the chest, and then go, oh, I feel better now, you know. And so if you interrupted and didn't let that process go out, then you wouldn't get to the end state. So it's really important to just not judge, not criticize, just go, okay, cool. That's your opinion. That's what is going on for you, you know, and validate it and just go, yeah, it must be tough. Or, you know, what do you want me to do about it, as I said. So it's important to not just dismiss it, but to work with them. And step number 6, appreciation and gratitude. Now, there's this thing I like to always say. If you're not grateful for what you have, why would the universe or God or source or spirit or whatever your term is, why would they give you any more if you're not grateful for what you've got? So gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership too. You know, one of the things that we teach is a daily text message showing love, appreciation, gratitude to whoever it might be. You know, your partners, your children, your colleagues, friends, family, anyone. But you're just expressing that gratitude daily. And so it's really, really important to express this in a relationship. Thank them for doing this. Being so grateful for them being in your life, for putting up with your shit, you know, for all these things. You know, you don't have to thank them for everything, but at least if you're in your mind saying it, like, thank you for this, or thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for allowing us to create this family. Thank you for this. Thank you for this. And you can go on a bit of a rant of saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You could even have like a list. Like I always have lists going, and I have a nice little diary that I write things in. It could be like, you know, thank you for, you could do it a couple of times a day. Just write, thank you for this. Thank you, partner's name, for this, you know. And so every day you're just writing a few things that you're thankful for, because you can't experience anger or frustration or resentment if you're experiencing gratitude. They're polar opposites, right? It can't happen. It can't exist. So the more that you can express gratitude and be thankful for what you've got, you're going to get more of it. And also too, it's training you to look for the good in your relationship and in that other person, and the good in yourself as well, rather than focusing on the bad. Because you can focus on the bad or you can focus on the good. They're both there. It just depends on what you choose to look at and what you choose to put your focus on. So just to recap, let's go through the 6 steps again. So step number 1, active listening. Step number 2, empathy or compassion building. Step 3, communication skills. Step 4, prioritize quality time together. Step 5, practice patience and understanding. And step 6, show appreciation and affection and gratitude. So those are the 6 steps. Remember, it's super, super important. A healthy relationship is gonna help every area of your life. So many people, their relationship is not so great at home, and then that's getting projected onto everything else, and they're just unhappy. Whereas if you can be really good in your relationship, it's gonna flow onto other areas of your life as well. So if you like this video, let me know what the key step is that you haven't been doing, what you're gonna work on. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I will talk to you on the next video.